Ladies and gentlemen, our event will but before, let's kindly note one or two things regarding the very important. Behind this is an emergency exit and the washroom right behind on my left hand washroom to use. If you'd also want to have access to the best Western, click on the code that is you click on accept terms and then you click on OK. If anybody needs assistance on this, you can let any of our assistants know about that and we'll be happy to assist you. Richard. I'm going to introduce. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to begin our session or our program. My name is 𝗷𝗑𝗥𝗖𝗔𝗦, Advisor on Digital Transformation, 𝗔𝗳𝗖𝗙 Corporation. And I'm here with my colleague,
𝗷𝗑𝗥𝗖𝗔𝗦, Institute of City Professional Ghana.
Thank you, Kofi. So welcome to the Maiden Africa Digital. This is an amazing forum, and we are all in this forum because it's a major platform for digital development discourse in Africa. And we happen to have it here in Accra, Ghana. So we all as Ghanaians must be happy that we initiated this. We're going to have a wonderful moment, a very great and insightful intellectual discourse that is going to help us gain insight into digital development on our continent. Thank you very much. So we'll begin our session with an open who is the marketing strategist at AIDEC Group, is going to lead us. Thank you.
Thank you, Gideon. Good morning, everyone. We'd like to take a word of prayer as we bow down our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for strength. We thank you for being able to make this reality and possibility. We pray, O Lord, committing the program into your hands, committing everyone on their way. We pray for and we pray that this program will impact our lives and will empower us to also impact our generation, our nation as a whole. This and many more we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mrs. 𝗓𝗛𝗓𝗚𝗓𝗡. We will now welcome Professor Robert Siena, who is the chairman of AIDEC Group, to give us a welcome address. Prof.
Thank you, Gideon. Our guest of honor, the Deputy Minister of Communication and Digitalization, guests of honor, Honorable Mohammed 𝗔𝗙𝗖𝗙𝗦, Mayor of Accra, Professor 𝗓𝗓𝗚𝗜𝗖𝗎𝗓, Chairman of Ghana.com, Professor Alex Dodu, Director General of Ghana Standards Authority, Mr. 𝗗𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗙𝗟, Director Digital, NITA, Professor 𝗔𝗙𝗙𝗦𝗚𝗓𝗓, Dean of the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗙, Advisor, National Cybersecurity Center, Madam Patricia Adu-Seipokwu, Data Protection Commission, Ms. Efua Acha, Director of IT, Ghana Standards Authority, Mr. Roger Ansongmene, former Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. 𝗗𝗓𝗔𝗦𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, MD, Phoenix Insurance, Mr. Ambrose Yena, CEO of AIDEC Group of Companies, distinguished invited guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I'm addressing you together with those who are watching this live-streamed event on social media platforms. And my assignment this morning is to warmly welcome you all to the Maiden Africa Digital Forum, Accra edition, and to set the tone for our business. This is an extremely important event, particularly with the presence of the Honorable Deputy Minister and all of you distinguished invited guests. You have taken time off your busy schedules in recognition of the role of AIDEC, Consultancies International, in providing digital solutions to public, private, and tertiary sectors of our economy, all aimed at improving business growth. It is an event that will be marked by a presentation by the CEO of AIDEC Group, Mr. Ambrose Yena, on the journey of AIDEC in digital transformation for Ghana and Africa in general. This will be followed by a 10-minute statement from our guest speakers, who are key stakeholders in the digital drive. The high point of the forum will be the keynote address by the Minister of Communication and Digitalization. As part of this important forum, we shall be treated to key topics by 3 panelists. First being the Mayor of Accra, who will tell us how solutions can help develop Accra, smart city. Then Professor Alex Dodu will take us through the significance of e-commerce, cross-border trade, and standardization. And play a key role in digital transformation will be considered by Professor 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗍𝗠 Dean of the University of Ghana Business School. He'll be talking about digital skills development for employment. Honorable Deputy, ladies and gentlemen, how can ICT and professionals, stakeholders, and academia come together to support government's drive to position Ghana on the global map? AIDEC International is answering this question concerning digital technology with a pool of experts ready to work with and public institutions to facilitate and enhance public service, and with private sector to accelerate business growth and efficiency. Indeed, across the globe, governments and private sector establishments are racing against time to become more digital so as to avoid being outmoded or folding up. Because going digital is the new norm for doing business and engaging with customers, improving customer care and business outcomes. Ghana and Africa should not be left out because digital mindset, technical institutions and corporate organizations to and use and faster in order to grow and be more serviceable and profitable. On this note, I would like to once again welcome you all and to express to you the gratitude of AIDEC for your support in driving digital solutions for Ghana and Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, the chairman of the group. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would welcome the CEO of AIDEC Group to give a speech. Mr. Yena, kindly let's. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gideon. Good morning, everyone. I take this opportunity to Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, who has just joined us. She's representing the Minister of Communications, who, for a last-minute hitch, could not make it to this program. So we are very happy to have you. So our special guest of honor, speakers, our invited distinguished guests. I will stand on the protocols by the chairman of AIDEC to say you are all welcome to this morning's program, the first and the maiden edition of the Africa Digital Forum, Accra edition 2021. The theme of the forum is Digital Challenge, Africa's Opportunity and After. Under the theme, we will have 3 topics which will be handled by our distinguished guest speakers. We appreciate you all for finding time outside of your very busy schedules to be present here today for this forum. This underscores the importance you attach to this maiden Accra edition of the forum. A brief introduction to the consultancies and the AIDEC Group. AIDEC Consultancies is a 100 Ghanaian company liability company. The acronym AIDEC means Africa Integrated Development and Communications Consultancies. It has as its objectives to integrate businesses across Africa through the use of information technology as a tool for doing business. The company was incorporated in 2004 as a subsidiary of AIDEC Holdings Limited. They are located at AIDEC Plaza, East Legon in Accra. AIDEC Consultancies International Limited is a general consulting firm. It's a technology within the AIDEC and houses the digital solutions and excellence center referred to as AIDEC Digital. As a company, we help businesses and public sector institutions craft their management strategies and find their digital compass. Experts at the center advise and support clients and implement digital transformation strategies so they can stay relevant and competitive in a world that is digitally transforming. I'm happy to say that a good number of our experts are present with us. You're welcome. The center has a modern digital excellence center, digital solutions to the general public. We also believe in public-private sector collaboration. We support information and communications and learning within and across public, private, and third sectors. This is the reason why we are here today to engage our regulators in the digital space, cities and academia to discuss the way forward as a technology hub, providing leadership, contributing to Africa's fourth industrial revolution through technology. Our strength in the of our assignment delivery. As consultants, we years provided quality and excellent services to nations. Our professional staff are from different professional and academic backgrounds. We engage as teams, skill sets appropriate to specific assignments. Our clients their needs and appropriate solutions to address their specific challenges. Our approach engages the management of discussions and feedback process to ensure that the results we deliver are to the satisfaction of our clients. The scope of our services include to information technology, digital transformation, and cybersecurity risk management, data science analytics, big data consulting, i.e. artificial intelligence of things, and process automation. The general management consulting has leadership skills and competency, business process, organizational development, entrepreneurship, business and executive development, and simultaneous of conferences. Having given you a brief about of digital, let me give you a brief rundown on the additional aspects of the program. The chairman has some address alluded to them. Additional be a statement by the National Information Technology Authority is here present to deliver his report. And it will cover the operational regulatory roles of NITA. We will have Professor 𝗔𝗙𝗎𝗓𝗓, the chairman of variously described Africa's father of internet for his the development of ICT in Ghana, Africa in general. He'll be joining us via. Following the statements by our guest speakers, keynote the Honorable Deputy Minister, will be an open forum discussion which we can discuss security and information security, protection of our data is provided from cybersecurity attacks. We'll discuss Data Protection Commission, and they'll give a position on the and regulation on data protection, privacy, data and registration companies, process controllers. I look forward to a very interesting discussion. And finally, how would we apply to sanitize the tech space whilst making for innovation? Expectation is that regulation should not stifle creativity, but create windows and doors for innovation. Regulation continues to catch up with new developments in the tech space. Deputy, our distinguished guests and invited our media friends, the panel discussion on the open forum will see participants discussing digital solutions for Africa and what leadership role Ghana can play in this digitization drive. The role of public, private, and third sectors will be very crucial in the success of this endeavor. How will we collaborate, even as we compete as practitioners in the sector, to make sure this happens? Top tech companies in Ghana need to collaborate with the regulators of the sector, collaborate with our business associations, academia, and research institutions to achieve greater impact. At the end of the forum, we have a surprise for you. We'll be unveiling the logo for a product we have for you, which we believe you're excited about. We dub it the Africa Technovate Awards /Fair 2021. The Technology and Innovations Fair comes off in November 2021. The format will be both physical and virtual. There will be exhibition of tech products, both physical and virtual, on the first day before the awards night. And on the second day, there will be chat conferences. There will be chat rooms and conference rooms for participants to check into programs of their choice. It will be an annual affair, and the venue will change from one African country to another based on selection and hosting rights. The Africa Technology Fair will be preceded by another event dubbed Tech Engineers Roundtable. Engineers Roundtable will process the outcomes of this forum and make a presentation to government and other development partners for further action. This one will not be a event. To recognize the development cooperation in place in supporting governments in Africa to navigate through this transformation process in order that Africa can remain competitive with the rest of the developed world. Yeah, him. We're happy. Please stay with us. Contribute to let us have a very lively discussion on this theme and the topic thereof, and enjoy the facilities so generously provided by Best Western Premier Hotel for our comfort. I warmly welcome you and have our gratitude for the support in driving digital solutions for Ghana, Africa, and the world in general. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ambrose, CEO, AIDEC Group. As Mr. Yana rightly said, we haven't from our guest speaker, but we would have a little in the, as you rightly see, we're supposed to have the General of NITA making a statement. But we would Professor Rep take the stage, deliver his statement for 20. The rep. Oh, Professor here. Oh, sorry. Sorry for the mix-up. Anyway, so Prof, sorry for the mix-up. Before we go with that, shall we presence of our guests who are present with us here. The Honorable Deputy Minister of Communications is with us. I'm sure she is either packed out. Oh, she's here. All right, great. This mask is us. I see Dr. Engineer Ken right here. You're welcome. PSA here, I believe. The rep. Academic University College. NIIT. We have rep from Access. GIZ has already been acknowledged. Welcome. Have Professor speak and standardization after. He is the General of Standards Authority, Africa. Let's welcome him.
Thank you very much. But first and foremost, Mayor of Accra, my so it was wait for the mayor and then Honorable Deputy and big sister. And I think I said to the house acknowledgement. I wouldn't finish because I've seen my senior brother engineer. My sincere apology for you, and I think you town for a reason work. COVID-10, so you know how it. However, the director of IT through. I'm just going to say the discussions that we're talking about IT transformation creation. And with TA here, now hosting the secretariat, good to analyze it and see how we can value for it. I personally believe a lot of is we don't drive into the space to be done. So I think it's just the overview, and then the protocols is a boring. My last two slides, we are in it for us. And how do we create the jobs we need to create? So first here knows our place, but definitely CEO bore you with university people don't like reading. I think is that buying or selling of goods, I'm very concerned with African continent areas. Ghana has been selling a lot of in the form of education. It's actually becoming the exports. You have students from the sub-region coming in. If we focus more on it, we will have more high-trained doctors. We do not have enough, but we believe that as we look at goods, human is e-commerce interchange. Can we please next slide? Take people the way of business to business. Fine, it's simple words. But I think it's important to ourselves as businesses. We trade with consumers. The key is that do we add value? Because historically, in the Bible or Quran, and kill also value as you perceive it. How we use continental area to within we go to South Africa tourism, but within people come from Liberia and Nigeria, and is government able to even know the value to the GDP that can be the next slide. Within e-commerce is going to allow us to trade. I mean, it's device always digitization. It's already now. All of us know very well that applying for our passports, we are doing everything online. They're governing this training. Trading is about rules. Consumer business changed. And within the FTA, how do we ensure that the rules are aligned? Ghana is trading with the language is not a barrier, but that's the language of be the rule. That's the requirement. And that coming, if you want to work large, however, by because the language is harmonized into each changed. It's not deliberately. We never have a trade. Please. We are. I'm not different. That they refer to a line, an article, product, document the under. We are specification. Nobody feels cheated, which means simple must be doubtful. You want and should be sick. If when shift it 0.001%. Yes, medicine 0.1 gram and a patient is injured. I think within Africa, like to be but please precision. Our development will be humble. So there, if we are, we cannot compete. I mean, is clear is. I think it can be quality. one place. And these, they do not World Trade Organization rules referring to customs standards. Within the Africa, our governments are to progressively. Currently, if you buy stuff from South Africa to Ghana, you obtain customs a certification that is duty. It's already in customs duty. Realign. Now, however, even though customs have been waived, health has been waived. Because yes, you don't pay duty, you must meet your requirement and it's good to mind that. So, and this is where the should be. We are trading across. Customs will be progressively that they are zero, because we are starting from the goods and the goods which are, because we are creating comfort. And 5 or 10 years, the to mean that by the country beginning on requirements, when there are no duties, I don't like it. So you can country, and that is why we are since AFC start trading to know then the benefit trade. Next, go on to this thing. So, what is the left rate? Africa together one. Even though we Africa competitively, not trading ourselves, we want to trade. And the international should be should be as good than made in anywhere. The moment Ghana says this is for us, let's just we are not competitive. In Ghana of 30 million, we want to well, we want to this will we have created. So the next slide, I think few slides to dwell on. With e-commerce, African trade has to be governed. This is so fast that which opportunity for why the discussions have we are at the right time, and if we do not we will be ideas of other nations. A lot of global the International Union, National Electrotechnical Committee. These documents are consensus by to trade. Frequently have not participated actively, so we have been consumers of the consensus, and business drives the world. So we need to be at the heart of the consensus development. We need to lobby. We need to put Gari and Fufu at the center to ensure that intelligence is only pizza or noodles. I mean, that's the reality. I know to all of actually policymakers, it's not clear because the investment is heavy, and you stand on the political platform and said you've done that. People want to see schools and other things, which are critically important as well. So how much investment would we put in things which are not exciting politically, but critically important as well for us as a country? Next slide, please. So the African Standards Organization, of which I'm happy to be assuming the presidency from June next year, leads within the AFCFTA by law. Thank you. And we are trying to move this. So I'll show you what ISO is doing and then what the African standards are doing so that we see how to leverage it to create business. Next slide, please. So the African Standards Organization has developed a technical committee of experts from member states to develop standards for several things. We call it for the creative economy, includes among several other things, digital content. The work is just about starting. Ghana will play a key role and will be reaching out to all nationally to make sure that we shape these African standards so that in the end we are beneficiaries. Next slide, please. Then with International Standards Organization, there's a technical committee which is called TC 321, Transaction Assurance. Please note, a standard for cybersecurity, ISO 20 series, and several others. However, transactions in e-commerce does not, as we speak, have any standards. The committee will be finishing their draft work in 2021. And that is why it's exciting for us. I mean, next slide, please, to see what they are doing. This is word for word from the ISO website. It is supposed to ensure that there's assurance of transaction processes in e-commerce, especially access to stores and platforms. This is business. This is jobs. This is where Ghana should get involved. It's going to protect online consumers. What are their rights? If you buy an iPhone from an online shop in Nigeria and it comes and it's not iPhone, how do you get relief? So it's critically important. Then interoperability. And I know if His Excellency the Vice President is here, he'll be excited. No, today I went to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to take money and the ATM was not working, but it was a stand chart. And thanks to interoperability, I could pay and take some small money to come and have my, So it's working, and we all know. So interoperability and admissibility of data on commodity quality. I mean, these are critical issues that quite often when we mention e-commerce, people think it's just, buy a phone or Amazon, but it goes beyond that. It goes to even government work. And lastly, assurance of e-commerce delivery to the final customer. Next slide, please. I think next slide. So I think these are my last two slides. I hope I've been able to bring all of us into the space of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We are removing tariffs, but standards, health and safety requirements will be there. Now, e-commerce will play in this value chain. I mean, we all know how mobile money has made all of us, access the thing. There are so many payment platforms. In fact, M-Pesa in Kenya was one of the first payment platforms anywhere in the world that I know of. And I remember in the early days of the 90s when we were doing a PhD, when African Online started in Kenya, we thought, what is this interesting thing? Now we all take it for granted. So e-commerce would overcome one other challenge in Africa, logistics. And Zipline is already an example. It moves things by drones. So when the roads are not there, you have technology to send your products over there. I will repeat it. Africa must lead. Africa must lead. Africa must lead. If we don't lead in the development of the standards, we will consume standards developed by others. Last slide, please. So what's the way forward? Like we said, development of standards are the way forward because it's going to help us trade amongst ourselves. The African Continental Free Trade Area gives the tech sector a huge opportunity to create jobs, to create wealth, to add value. Now, governments need to get involved. Regulators need to get involved. But I think the private sector should begin to really talk more, should begin to take risk and invest more. at the end of the day, the jobs that we need to create have to come from new value-added sectors. And I'm hoping that together we'll do it and succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Yes, Africa must lead, else we'll remain just consumers. At this very moment, we'll take the next statement from the Director of Regulations from 𝗓𝗏. He's taking the place of the Director General, who for other reasons is not here with us. Shall we welcome Mr. 𝗙𝗏𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗔?
Thank you. Honorable Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, 𝗙𝗏𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗔, Mayor of Accra, Honorable 𝗙𝗛𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗏, Director General, Ghana Standard Authority, Professor Alex Zewdu. We are passionate about Ghanaians leading standardization. I just want to assure you that there is a young Ghanaian who has been leading the International Telecommunication Union for the past 9 years on the development of standards for telecommunications quality, performance, and quality of experience. Beyond that, the resolutions on global cybersecurity and many performance, sandboxing, all these are being led by Ghanaians at the International Telecommunication Union. So Ghana has consciously invested in that space, just as an Dean of University of Ghana Business School, Professor CEO of Ghana Telecom, Dr. 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, distinguished invited guests, media, ladies and gentlemen, from the Director General of Mr. Richard Kwachi Ofosu, who would have loved to be here in person, yet as delegated, I present this statement on his behalf. Many of you are aware, National Technology Agency, its establishment in 2008, has look dominantly as an IT infrastructure and service provider to government, even though the National Information Technology Agency Act 2008, Act 771, is to regulate the provision of information communications technology. Also, the Electronic Transactions Act 2 as a certifying agency to issue licenses for encryption and authentication services. Over the past year, 𝗓𝗏 has successfully transitioned its service provider operations to Smart Infra Co. So it assumed its regulatory role fully in fulfilling the objectives of Act 771 and Act 772. From now seeks to sanitize the ICT with standards, registration of IT professionals and entities, certification of IT products and services, market surveillance, and to ensure provision of quality information communications technology. So far, 𝗓𝗏, informed by other international standard practices of other regulators of ICT and with stakeholder consultations, has developed standards on data center, management of IT infrastructure for ministry, department, agencies, metropolitan, municipal, district assemblies. Same for electronic records and data management, LAN, as well as standards and applications. Standards are meant to complement the standards from the International Standard Organization and to be implemented in our ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the metropolitan municipal assemblies. 𝗓𝗏 held a nationwide training a fortnight ago for the MDAs and the MMDAs on these standards, which the participating IT personnel and managers are excited about. Other standards on cloud computing, end-user equipment, ICT, human capital and workforce development, information security, messaging and collaboration, system standards and procedures, as well as website standards are currently under development. NITA looks forward to engagement of stakeholders when these draft standards are published for consultation. Let me clarify that these standards are applicable to the ICT in Ghana, industry in Ghana, whether it is public or private. So further on, NITA will engage stakeholders in sectors such as banking, insurance, to develop standards for their specialized needs. Ladies and gentlemen, our country is on a digital transformation agenda. Digitalization portfolio has been added to the mandate of what used to be the Ministry of Communication, which NITA is the agency responsible for ensuring provision of quality information communications technology. Together with standards, we can achieve quality provision of ICT services with experts and competent entities, as well as certified hardware and software. As of now, there are no records on the number of person IT product suppliers, IT consultants practicing in this country. NITA now has an online portal registering IT personnel as well as companies, and hereby invites practitioners, entities to be registered for reference for engagement for government ICT supplies and services. Digital transformation is crucial for the realization of sustainable development goals. Call sustainable development team or partners. NITA intends to collaborate with regulators such as the Ghana Standards Authority, Public Procurement Authority, National Communications Authority, Data Protection Commission, National Cybersecurity Commission, Energy Commission, Bank of Ghana, among others, to develop and enable regulatory high-level principles that will fast-track the adoption of e-commerce, e-agriculture, e-health, e-education, among others, in fulfilling the SDGs even before 2030, and truly realizing a digitally transformed country. As a host of Common Free Trade Agreement Secretariat, Ghana has the opportunity to be the model country of developing ICT experts, providing quality and security of ICT services to facilitate trade across our continent. Real-time and credible information on commodities, the security and trust of payment systems, as well as ICT in general, has a crucial role in international trade, especially involving e-commerce among small, medium enterprises across Africa. NITA calls on industry to support after their ICT needs for a deeper regional integration. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your kind attention and look for action after our deliberations.
Thank you, for. Would unable to be here today. Online has already put on so we can ask that tell the story of the across our mind. That's important thing in my life. Sadly to say, yes, I believe a lot of people also depend on it today. So I think it will be very good we start telling the story of Professor 𝗚𝗚𝗜𝗚𝗚, so everybody will get to know who he is and what he has done to help us have internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to speak to the Africa Forum and thank the organizer for seeking me out. The theme, the digital challenge, Africa's opportunity and AFCA, is of interest to our internet technical community, who believe that a good, stable, secure internet is a precondition to successful AFCFTA. The internet institutions called AFSTAR, founded over the decades, include the Numbers Registry Afrinic, the Community the Africa TLD, as well as Africa, top level would be and respect on how going. That father the internet when we brought those ask to the economy for centuries, so we should know this. The and the speaker internet. The past, the future. Know about the and that in you US the income from someone that experience resulted first from 1999 computer science at UFIT and USA in 19 just acquired 19 British being reason for 7/8 divide was unable. We used the two machines for registering accounts. Resulted establishment systems company pioneered in 3 as price of cost of 5,000 British Telecom with all engineers and the liberation to find the domination. Swept continent. Last country Africa part not only consume goes to continent. Power most of leading organizations in the West African activity and name services except other countries in it. There were over 10,000 users and a network in 3 regional by dial-up modem, radio, satellite. Just as years, the whole is under but company with $6.3 liquidation scattering 7 over the decade. Provision, thus filling the vacuum left by the of to come into 7 to like new services in Accra. It's come a long way. Computers in use log phone. We went 80 using networked enterprise systems with PCs. The conditions were ripe. Cybersecurity 3 and here are of good things would have to continue. I'll maintain focus on of the computer science is problematic. Produce of sufficient materials, in my opinion, research capacity. It must be now in facts. We are funding the work you have science information educational system. Scientists will be without. One would professional with educational things, but with new tools. Experiment how do at all have enough mass of them us in their retirement business. Computer is programming. It's not hearted. Accra the technology on media communication. Yet to solve computer science without math and telecommunication are well nobody for risks of contracted companies. Procurement use in provision of services, and one can invest in capacity to develop said technology locally. Procurement creates users quickly. Procurement creates suppliers over time. What mix of dependence and self-reliance to plan is a challenge. We also have to balance term and long-term development needs of the digital economy. What proportion of public procurement targets local technology providers? I favor more local development, self-reliance, and being of services within our economy. In the 90s, there were hundreds of ISPs. Today, internet is by a handful of telecommunications companies. What did we do to create this monopoly-style market consolidation again in hands of a few multinationals? Was this a result of prioritizing policy for raising funds that gave the sector away? So, and stand by building technical capacities and self-development. The AFCFTA-powered regional economy will depend on internet, which we don't have enough of yet. Hence, any impedance, whether it's taxes, shutdown of the internet, will be costly. AFCFTA will do well when there are lots of companies and government websites engaged in online commerce. These commerce-powered websites require domain names, web hosting, e-commerce payment tools. I recently read up about AFCFTA and that Africa loses billions from intra-regional trading in foreign currency, the dollar. One forward-looking proposal is to consider taking advantage of advances in cryptocurrencies and blockchain and issue an African Union coin to fund Africa Agenda 2063. And we only in African Union coin amongst ourselves, while the AU coin may be traded on exchanges for increased value. I thank you very much for your attention and hope this was useful for your meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor 𝗚𝗠𝗚. We can do it better. Let's hear it for the father of the internet, Africa's internet. We need to celebrate our heroes. So please, let's father of the Africa internet. Amazing. Thank you so much, Prof. I wish you would have stayed on for us to still, I thought standing platform. Really great heroes. Thank you, Prof. Prof, thank you. Internet. Gentlemen, thank you for bringing the picture to and the picture. Would invite a keynote address from the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. Say, I just heard her, say at a particular forum that whenever she hears of anything E, she really stresses the E. Anything she's So she couldn't be so glad that we have the Honorable Deputy Minister, Mrs. Poma Boateng. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. About 20 years ago, I used to be a student and participated in programs such as, I mean, all of you here and me being a deputy. I'm really, really humbled to have the opportunity to see all of you here again. Thank you. So, on behalf of the minister who I knew was preparing for this day to travel, so she's out of the country. But last night, she really called me to tell me to make sure that I'm here. There's a fintech program going on this morning that I'm supposed to be part of. So as Prof said, plans are on the way for a kind of coin or cryptocurrency for Africa. So we are all on the same path. So if you would indulge, I would humbly submit this speech for my minister. The CEO Consultancy International Limited, reps from the tech businesses, regulators, reps from academia, honorable distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to welcome you all to the Africa Digital Forum 2021 themed The Digital Challenge, Africa's Opportunity at the Africa. It's very timely, as you may be aware, the fourth revolution opening new doors and posing challenges at the same time for industries, organizations, and enterprises across the globe. Industry players have the opportunity to harness digital technologies like the internet to efficiently coordinate operational processes. This new platform also poses in terms of infrastructural deficit, digital literacy of us, need for use, interoperability of systems, impact of emerging technologies on curriculum to produce the right human resource and coordination of various sectors of the economy. These challenges, they also provide opportunities for digital goals. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, businesses can harvest and derive from data using artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. Moreover, new products and services can be developed leveraging innovative web platforms and technologies. While companies are already reaping the gains of digitalization, many others are still facing the threats of digital disruption and lacking the mindset and skill set to digitally transform their businesses or organizations. With the coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, a 1.2 billion population, the opportunity to provide technology solutions to enterprises and individuals would boost entrepreneurial drive on the continent. Digital solutions designed by Africa and used in Africa is the major way to facilitate our quest to become a single digital market, enabling the continent to reap benefits in cross-border markets and It will also help us achieve an integrated digital identification goal to enable each of our countries to deliver equitable social services to people across socio-economic boundaries. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa has the opportunity to harness technologies to economic development continent. Driving seamless digital port operations, for example, will deliver accountable, transparent, and customs services and make the AfTA successful. Only 2% of the country had access to the internet as of 2016. Too few citizens have digital IDs or transaction accounts, locking them out of access to critical services and e-commerce. Digital startups struggle to funding, and traditional businesses are only slowly adopting digital technologies and platforms to boost productivity and sales. Few governments are investing strategically and systematically in developing digital infrastructure, skills, and entrepreneurship. This is from the World Bank. Ghana has already begun the process to secure its digital journey, and a number of initiatives have been implemented in the last years under my tenure as the Minister of Communications and Digitalization. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are very exciting times for the communication sector in Ghana. The Ministry is championing government's digital agenda. We have prioritized 5 thematic areas to enable the ministry track the progress in the next 4 years. The digital infrastructure and connectivity, digital skills, innovation, digitalization of postal and courier services, data protection, privacy and trust for digital and services, and legal, regulatory, and policy framework. As a ministry responsible for driving the digital agenda, the whole country is looking up to our sector to bring the needed benefits of the digitalization to enhance public service delivery and usher efficiency in the entire public service arena. This will affect the country in terms of ease of doing business, better access, and reduce the cost of these services. We have implemented technological systems and platforms, including the National Identification System, the Ghana Card, digitization of records, digital payment platforms, mobile money interoperability, and cybersecurity, amongst others. National identification. A robust foundational identification system is a prerequisite for building a solid digital ecosystem. Hence, the National Identification Authority is given a renewed mandate to collect the personal data of all residents and issue biometric cards to all residents of Ghana, both citizens and other nationals. Currently, our records show that over 15.5 million people have already been enrolled on the biometric national card or the Ghana card system. The National Identification is working with various agencies to integrate the identity records of the citizenry with the Ghana card scheme. The process of integrating Social Security National Insurance Trust, SNIT, and Ghana card is on course. The NIA card database is also being synchronized with that of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, of the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana will ultimately be used for tax administration. Since the introduction of the Ghana card as the TIN number, the number of people with TIN numbers has increased from 750 in 2016 to 15.5 million in 2021. The digital payment platforms. The Ghana has introduced the Ghana.gov digital services and payments platform to enable payments to public sector organizations. This is purported to be a point of access for all services industries, departments, and government agencies. The Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority is in the process of introducing a new e-payment platform to allow for the payment of fees and charges at the ports. This platform will facilitate cargo at the port and afford stakeholders the opportunity to validate invoices, calculate port charges, and facilitate secure transactions through mobile money and other payment systems. In addition, arrangements have been made for payment access to be made through all on the Ghana.gov platforms. This initiative is part of GRA's efforts to improve tax collection and remove all bottlenecks, for example, excessive long queues that impede payments. Since the introduction of this strategy, it has significant growth in revenue, deepened expenditure, and reduced the need for physical human involvement in the administration of services, thereby helping our fight against corruption. This year, the government of Ghana has to realize results in digitizing records keeping in ministries and agencies. The registrar department will soon introduce an improved online software for registration of names and company registration in Ghana. The International Cooperation IFC, under the Ghana Investment Climate Advisory Program, supporting this effort in modifying software systems aimed at reforming businesses and company registrations in Ghana. Further, through the Ghana Cares initiative, the government is implementing the Land Records Digitization Project. The project is to help eliminate several in the land registration regime, including multiple titles being issued for the same piece of land and the agony suffered by the patronizing public due to the incidences of documents. The ministry has supported the Births and Deaths Registry through the operations of the e-services program. This has significantly improved efficiency in delivery by reducing the number of days taken to authenticate and/or issue birth certificates. Currently, over 12 million paper records and have been digitized. The digitized records are being incorporated into the enterprise management system at the Births and Deaths Registry. Mobile money interoperability. To imminent challenges in the mobile money transactions among different networks and to facilitate deeper financial inclusion, a mobile money interoperability platform has been established to promote seamless of cash among the various networks. This is also efforts to promote society and provide alternative channels for access to digital financial services. Implementation of this groundbreaking mobile money interoperability project has made Ghana the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. According to the Bank of Ghana currently has 38.5 million registered mobile money accounts with over 17 million active money accounts with transactions of 569 billion Ghana cedis in December 2020. Cybersecurity. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens' confidence in the ability of government to guarantee the safety and security of online transactions is a condition that has to be met before a successful digitalization process can be achieved. As governments across the breadth of Africa continue to digitize and digitize our services and operate, encourage our citizens to use these options, one of the eminent challenges is cybercrime perpetrated by cyber adventurers who would want to exploit government systems for personal gains. The only way to sustain the use of these technologies is to tell the public that the internet is safe and that their personal and online channels are protected. Since the government took office, deliberate measures have been put in place to counter the potential threats posed by cyber criminals. Ghana in 2020 passed the new Cybersecurity Act 2020 Act 1038 to establish a cybersecurity authority mandated to protect cyberspace and also provide a legal framework to effectively respond to the current cyberspace. Some of these efforts, among many others, led to Ghana being ranked third in the continent in the latest published Global Cybersecurity Index from the ITU. Cyberspace has no borders, and so is cybercrime, which makes international cooperation the most effective tool in ensuring cyberspace. The cyberspace and its attendant crime transcend geographical. It therefore requires collaboration amongst members, signed to secure the space. Collaboration in areas such as capacity building, research and development to provide technical solutions that are highly responsive to cybersecurity but can be suitable to or for the African ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, it is noted with concern that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement presents both a great challenge and opportunity for all African countries from a digital standpoint. AfCFTA is a $3.5 trillion economic bloc that includes 1.3 billion people, expected to become the world's largest free trade zone. The trade bloc passes in the next few months. Concerns have been raised that African nations may not reap the greatest benefits, if nothing, as soon as possible. More important, beyond digitalization, we need to systematically create opportunities for homegrown startups in the space to create value for all. Indeed, we have to establish strategic alliances within the zone in order not to take full advantage of these opportunities. I believe that if government support a vibrant computer hardware in one country to supply various schools across the continent while restricting to other competitively advantaged companies, sister countries in other areas of expertise, there will be an increase in the scale upon which these companies can viably establish or cement their operations. These are true building blocks towards the realization of the African digitalization agenda, which is one of affordable connectivity, more and cheaper credit, more safety, more more technology startups, and wealth creation among us. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Union's Digital Development Roadmap, the Digital Transformation Strategy for Africa, is a key document for those interested in locating the digital compass of our continent. The AU visions an integrated and inclusive digital society and economy in Africa that improves the quality of life of Africa's citizens. This strategy encompasses the following: digital infrastructural development, political commitment, public partnerships, effective implementation framework, digitally centered business model, and digital skills development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we must therefore look for the collective development of Africa to ensure progress and sustainable livelihoods. I am hopeful that today's forum will help ignite interesting new debate and expand the discussion around digital development in Africa. I would like to congratulate the team at AIDEC for staging the maiden edition of the Africa Digital Forum in Accra. I wish you the very best in your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the Deputy Minister of Communication, Honorable 𝗙𝗚𝗎𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. Let's hear it for her again. Thank you so much. We really appreciate, acknowledge what the ministry is doing in the space of technology, digitalization, if you may. So I'm thinking that our colleagues across borders are by now thinking that the Ghanaians are hijacking the forum. So shout out to Nigeria, not commit myself. So West Africa, Africa, Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, all with you, and we know that you are keenly following this forum, participating. So Kigali, Joburg, Lagos, I hope you're preparing for the next, to grab the next forum. It's going to be a tight bidding, I guess. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we would kindly proceed to the photography stand and have few moments of moments of, and then when we are done, we would come back and would hear from Mohammed 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. Mayor of Accra. Thank you very much. So we are happy to be hosted by the Mayor of Accra. It's an honor to have the Mayor of Accra here. And we'll welcome Honorable 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗓, Mayor of Accra, to give us his speech. Thank you very much.
Honorable Deputy, thanks for a very powerful speech, very loaded with information. I would like to observe my protocol in a bit of a different way by acknowledging certain personalities here. I'm wondering why Professor 𝗓𝗏𝗓𝗏 referred to me as his senior brother. You see my gray hair. That's the hazards of the job that I've taken. But he's my senior brother and not me being the senior. I grew up at 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔. I'd also like to Professor Justice 𝗔𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, who had been my lecturer throughout my tertiary level education, and every thesis that I have written has had interest in the topic and contributed to it. And I'm happy to share a platform with him here today. He's been very candid with me throughout my tenure, and tells me his disappointment sometimes, the things that he expected me to do, and happy also with the things, some of the things I'm doing. So, Professor Justice 𝗔𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, thank you for your guidance. Let me also acknowledge Dr. Nina Kukweno, who I'm proud to be one of its students years back when he got settled with NCS and was looking for young, brilliant people from Accra to train them in ICT. And I happens to be one of them. I'm not too sure he can remember me, but that was some years back. And my first private official email that I created it at 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏@hotmail.com. 28 means that I created it at the age of 28. Don't ask me of my age. I also want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Ken Ashibe, who, because he's seated by me, and we do have a lot of chat. But for the rest of the participants, because of the noise, I'm unable to notice you and to acknowledge each one of you individually. So, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to share the platform as a speaker, making a presentation on developing Accra as a smart city under the AFTA. I'm particularly grateful for the honor done me to share this experience with the distinguished speakers who have done excellent in lifting Ghana as a country, for the development of global ICT resources and tools. The AFTA presents Africa and Ghana countless opportunities for deepening trade among African states and nations, with a total of about 1.3 billion people, a market size exceeding $2.6 trillion. It is estimated that by 2030, Africa shall have estimated population of about 1.7 billion people, with consumer and business spending rising to $6.7 trillion. This presents an opportunity to be smart in our development to enable us catch up with the world and compete as equal partners. In October last year, 2020, together with the senior minister, Honorable 𝗖𝗛𝗚𝗜𝗢𝗡, and industry titans, we declared Accra as the commercial capital of Africa. In his speech to commemorate the declaration, Honorable 𝗖𝗛𝗚𝗡𝗢𝗡 referred to the substantial trade infrastructure which has been built in Accra that supports regional and global trade with Ghana. One of such infrastructures is the paperless port system, which has become an important facilitating infrastructure in Ghana. He also referred to several work being implemented by the government of Ghana to improve the ease of doing business in Ghana, most of which involve enhancement to our digital infrastructure. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly has taken advantage of the broad digital infrastructure policies being implemented by the Ministry of Communication and Digitization to automate part of the administrative and governance systems at the Assembly to serve the people of Accra better. The Assembly can boast of a reliable website and social media platform that provide the people of Accra with current information of the Assembly and permit interaction by people with the Assembly. The Assembly has also automated the systems for revenue collection using point-of-sales devices that are seamlessly integrated with back-end database and allow for better monitoring, supervision, and reporting of the revenues collected. The construction permit processing systems, which was launched by the Ministry of Local Government, allows residents in Accra to apply for construction permits and to monitor the progress of the applications online. More recently, Ghana Parliament approved $100 million facility to build the Accra Metropolitan Information Technology Enhanced Traffic Management System aimed at improving flow in Accra, road safety whilst reducing traffic violation and achieving an integration into the Integrated National Security Communication Network for a much safer Accra. Due to the high incidence of communicable diseases such as cardiovascular disease, as reported by the Metropolitan Public Health Department, largely due to the quality of air we breathe in the city, the Assembly has mounted smart air quality sensors at different locations to gauge the city's air quality of air and find remedial measures. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly is poised to use the available tools to provide smart services to the people. Soon, additional services such as marriage registration, outdoor advertising permitting, etc., will be automated as we drive of Smart Accra. The Assembly is taking cognizance of the vast investment made by the government in developing digital infrastructure, has future plans to deploy digital services more robustly in future development of the city. These plans are envisioned on the following themes: developing cities ICT hub for digital skills training and entrepreneurial innovations. Accra will leverage on the city's lab and innovation center to attract investments into the city and enhance Ghana's status as a financial and commercial heartbeat of Africa. Currently, one of the privately led city labs in Accra is Impact Hub. The active and progressive digital space in Accra is churning out IT-inclined among young people. The Accra Digital Center is another example, and there are many more of such city labs in Accra. We will also develop an app for development of smart devices, smart technologies, and applications for industrial use in Accra. We will also housing for low-income communities with facilities for cycling, community waste into vital productive use. Build digital infrastructure for providing quality basic education and resources for basic lifelong learning, including creation of virtual libraries, has been initiated by the Ghana Library Authority. Build a robust digital system for promoting our culture. This, the Assembly is working closely with the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Museum Board to take full advantage of Accra tourism potential. Digitize real-time economic and neighborhood data generation for smart service and decision-making and for monitoring evaluation of the city's programs and projects. Build a coordinated virtual platform for transacting business with the city's authorities in Accra and participation. These have piloted through the handles and found very interesting feedback. A trotro hub has been developed into the commercial urban launched a flood and risk app for the city of Accra that will provide real-time information on risk and impact. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly is on Accra app that will be a one-stop shop for citizen engagement on public services. We will also leverage on the national identity card and the party addressing system for issuance of permits, licenses, business integration, and certificates. Creation of virtual malls as marketplace to market Accra, to Africa, and many more. The future of all cities lies in smart and robust application of digital economy. This permits us an upscale of all services without compromising on quality to an ever-increasing urban population. The Accra Assembly will continue to take advantage of the national digital infrastructure programs of the government of Ghana to enhance investment in its own digital infrastructure that serve the people of Accra. I would like to thank the organizers of AIDEC for the theme of this year's conference, which focuses on opportunity for Africa to meet the digital challenges of our time through the Continental Free Trade Agreement. I'm very hopeful that Accra and Africa will rise to the challenge of building robust digital infrastructure which will improve development, alleviate poverty, and the livelihood of Africa. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mohammed 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗓, Mayor of Accra. Thank you so much for hosting us. Shall we hear for it, please? Thank you so much. We are proud that you're hosting this maiden edition of the ADF. Thank you for letting us know what Accra is doing to become or develop as a smart city in Africa. At this juncture, I'd like to invite the representative of GIZ, the Digital Transformation Center, to give us a statement. Thank you. In the name of Abraham Sam, shall we please welcome him?
Thank you very much. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Deputy and Mayor of Accra and all dignitaries here, all protocols observed. I am happy to be here this morning. I bring you greetings from GIZ, and we are happy about this forum, and it is something that we believe should be supported. As GIZ, we are interested in the digital space on the continent, and because of that, the Federal Ministry of Cooperation and Development started this initiative of digital transformation centers across Africa. And we have a number of them. This year we established one in Ghana. And the focus is on working on the preconditions for dealing with the challenges to leverage ICT as a tool for employment and entrepreneurship. As many of you may be aware, there is a 2019 International Finance Corporation report on sub-Saharan Africa with emphasis on Ghana. And the IFC actually predicts that there will be about 230 million digital jobs in sub-Saharan Africa by 2030. Specifically, the organization predicts about 9 million digital jobs. And for us at GIZ, we think it is time for Africa to take advantage of this opportunity. So under the Digital Transformation Center, and I'm happy this will be going round because we have the centers across the continent. And I'm happy to actually introduce our colleagues in the other centers to AIDEC. And under the center in Ghana, we are focusing actually on a number of projects. And these projects, we usually design them around solving the framework conditions for innovation and ICT to thrive. So we are working, for instance, with 𝗘𝗧𝗏 to actually make the community information that have been built very functional and active. We hope to use that to train a lot of young people and in the process close the rural-urban digital gap. If you sit in Accra, a lot of people who live, and especially those who grew up in Accra, will think that this is Ghana. But if you travel out of Accra, you realize that you may have some network connectivity, but you will probably not be able to do effective work. And so we are concerned and we are working on 𝗘𝗧𝗏 on this initiative. We are also, as I said, interested in entrepreneurs. And so we, under the center, we have a regional program which is even older than the center. So it is called Make IT in Africa, and the focus is to train entrepreneurs across Africa. And we have worked with a number of startups. Currently, our Make IT in Africa is supporting the Startup Act. And with the Startup Act, we believe that there will be policy and regulation that will promote innovative AI solutions in our country. Under the Digital Transformation Center, we are also working on a digital policy series. And this, Madam, last week I was at your office with my colleague to speak to the center about this. So the policy series essentially will provide stakeholders the opportunity to discuss, to detail several challenges in the ICT ecosystem, and then develop white papers that will be shared with government with concrete recommendation on how to improve the digital economy ecosystem. And this we are doing in partnership with the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization, which is the partner of the Digital Transformation Center. In Ghana, anything we do is with them and with their support. Also under the Digital Transformation Center, we are running a project on artificial intelligence. And here our the to enable innovative local AI solutions. The focus is on the global south with of attention on Africa. So we are doing Ghana, Uganda, Rwanda, South Africa, and Kenya. And we hope to increase the number of countries. So through the AI program, which is called Fair Forward Artificial Intelligence for All, last year we trained 11 startups from Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa, and then Uganda. This year, we hope to start our AI fellowship that will train young people in artificial intelligence for them to get jobs. And I'm happy to let you know that a number of organizations have already shown interest in this. And so we believe this is another opportunity to discuss and to deliberate on how to move the ecosystem forward. And so we are happy to be part of this, and we hope that whatever we discuss here will lead to concrete steps that will improve the digital ecosystem in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Abraham Sam, who's advisor with the Digital Center at GIZ, and he is championing AI Africa, particularly in Ghana. Thank you for letting us know what GIZ is doing. I'm happy to say that he is my wonderful colleague at GIZ. Thank you. Shall we please hear it for him again? Thank you, sir. We will now invite Professor 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓𝗏, Dean, University of Ghana Business School, speech on digital skills development for youth employment, fourth industrial revolution. Please let's welcome him.
The Honorable Deputy Minister, good morning. We are excited to have you. Let me pay homage to distinguished invited participants, especially my friend from afar, Dr. 𝗔𝗙𝗏𝗓𝗏. When you give trouble to the troublemakers, I get excited because I usually want to be part of the troublemakers, but I'm not able to do that now because of my role. And also my sister, Carol, in West Africa. We've been working on a number of ideas that we will be able to fast track that. Chair of the board of AIDEC and the CEO, colleagues, good morning. I'm excited to be here for a number of reasons, and one of them is that I get the opportunity to complain. Complaining is good, because I can't say if you don't talk about the kind of haircut you're getting, you're likely to get a terrible haircut. And so I want to be complaining this morning, and that along the topic that I've been assigned to speak on, digital skills development for youth employment for Africa's fourth industrial revolution. Honorable Deputy Speaker, permit me to complain that as Dean of the oldest business school in Ghana and within the sub-region, I've always been tormented when I go into fora like this. And I get confronted with questions such as, what are you people doing to reduce the unemployment rate in Ghana? And oftentimes it's been such a legitimate concern, because for those of us in the university, especially in the University of Ghana Business School, we feel pressured to be able to respond to that question. And so I always consider that question a legitimate question, and because of that, it's remained on our drawing board, and we've been doing what we can within the space of constraints that we have. As has been said already, the World Bank estimates that about 12% of our youth are unemployed. But even more grave is the figures of underemployed youth. So over 50% of our youth are actually underemployed. In other words, they are engaged in doing things that are not meaningful, that do not contribute a lot to our GDP, and which eventually frustrates them. This is a national threat. And for those of us in higher institutions like Legon, the business school, we are concerned. Often, gross tertiary enrollment of countries actually also predicts somehow the extent of development that such countries should have. And so there's a good correlation between gross tertiary enrollment and the state of development, or the level of development that countries actually experience. And that has been making steady growth. In fact, in the 2 years, in the space of 2 years, we have actually from 15.6% to 17.2% on gross tertiary enrollment. And oftentimes, like I said, this fast growth of gross tertiary enrollment should translate into employment opportunities for young people, such that this would then translate into national development. The challenge is that in our case, it doesn't appear to be the case, and it's not just us in Ghana, but across West Africa and the African region. In 2016, it was reported that some 300,000 jobs are needed yearly to be able to absorb our teeming youth with some decent employment. Almost 60% of Africa's population today is said to be under 30 years, the youngest continent, and creating more pressure for these young, energetic, and exuberant young people. Of course, there are reasons why we have these, but unemployment remains a key challenge for governments across the continent. It is a major source of loss to gross domestic product, and these young people are getting frustrated. No wonder we are seeing all manner of behaviors across even Ghana. I am from the north of Ghana. Historically, it was difficult to find crime in the north of Ghana. Now, everywhere else that you go, you dare not travel once it's past 5 p.m. You will be risking your life. And this is so, and because we are not finding jobs for our young people. So criminal enterprises will continue to survive and increase until we can do something. And that's why I say that for those of us in the universities, we have even much more pressure on us to respond. Why do the youth not have jobs? I'm sure that we all can hazard answers. Of course, in the space of 2 decades or so, there has been consistent crisis globally, from financial crisis to climate change, now to a health pandemic. And when these happen, the easiest areas to do away with are for vulnerable populations. Governments are happy to cut down on investment that will support sectors that affect vulnerable populations. And so young people, being a vulnerable population within the African continent, have as a result of these. And that has consistently diminished opportunities available for young people. There are problems with labor markets. There are problems with our educational systems. Many of the structures for these are worsening by the day, and as a result of that, there is great reduction in the quality and security of jobs for people. Of course, other causes would include constraints for entrepreneurial development. And in West Africa, I know you know the story so well. There's an over-concentration on liberal arts education within the African continent. We have less and less investment in science, technology, maths, engineering education. And because of that, we have consistently produced a cadre of young people who only know how to read and write and haven't been able to put themselves to some good use. There's a lot, and that's why when I get attacked, what are you doing? I feel embarrassed, because there's a lot of mismatch in the skills that we give to our young people and what they can do with them. Of course, there is also the major issue of us not wanting to invest and give young people the capacity to experiment. For those of us, and our colleague, Professor Dodu is a scientist, and he knows how much money countries put into scientific investigation and how much of it go wasted because they don't find anything. Unfortunately, to be able to get a business properly established, or to get a young person to be able to properly manage a business, there is the highest tendency that they will make mistakes along the line. But who is available to fund the mistakes that young people make, and for them to be able to grow and gather experience to lead what it is that we want? One factor which we had hardly looked at, which is the focus of today's conversation, is the issue of digital skills and how those can actually come to the rescue. Most educational institutions in Ghana and across the world, especially in Africa, I should say, do not have access to computer labs, not even good internet for faculty to be able to engage our students productively. And I say this because when COVID struck, there were a number of African-wide higher educational leaders conferences that I attended virtually. And then I found out that even the situation that we find ourselves in the University of Ghana and at the business school, and we are complaining, we are way miles ahead of our peers within the African region. And that's because I have always complained about our incapacity to be able to engage our young people. This year, I got handed over 3,900 students for business programs spread across our main campus, our city campus, and our distance programs. Infrastructure is not increasing. The best computer lab we have been a computer lab that I used when I was a student, and which went out of operation for so many years until this year, when one of our alumni helped us to refurbish that computer lab and to stock it with computers for our undergraduate programs. Even though we complain, my graduate campus has a computer lab that has 120 computers to help students to come around and play. But the reality is that it took me 2 years to be able to go through procurement to access and buy computers. That is the extent to which our institutions are constrained in our ability to give digital skills. And that is why we think that it is important that even though digital skills continues to be prerequisite for economic activities, and we need to be able to invest heavily in these, we think that the business community, the private sector, must support us to do that. Of course, I always talk to government, but we know that government is overburdened. My brother would talk about the rest of it later, whether government is overburdened or we are not, but conversation for today. The of digital technologies in business has moved to a center stage of global development agenda, creating new opportunities and enhancing business growth, especially during this era. And despite of the utilization of digital technology in developed countries, digital technology adoption within us in developing countries, and especially among SMEs, to create the environment and for expanding businesses so they can absorb young people, has been relatively low. Various studies actually point to very low digital readiness among many businesses in the African region, as well as here in our country, Ghana. And these are as a result, in some cases, of some inadequate digital infrastructure that can support a robust expansion and to support supply chains across the continent. Ghana ranks third in Africa in private digital platforms after Nigeria and South Africa. Digital platforms in Ghana are transforming, and the provision of services are gradually picking up. A lot of retail companies are moving online. Of course, I guess pushed into this by the incidence of COVID, but we hope that beyond COVID, these will be sustained. I am struggling to get my colleagues to accept that beyond COVID, we will still remain online and provide our curriculum and teaching digitally. The growing desire to achieve greater efficiency, transparency, and accountability has led to government's continuous investment in this sector, even though we say it continues to be inadequate. But certainly, the private sector must step in, and for those of us who are captains of industry, I want to give you a call to come over to the universities and support us. In recent times, as has been recovered by the Deputy Minister, the government has put in place a number of initiatives, many of which have great promise, and we hope that their will be such that we will continue to rely on them many years to come. Of course, such continuous improvement and accumulation of infrastructure is what to make sure that SMEs are able to expand within the sector and to be able to create more digitally based jobs. Recently, the World Economic Forum estimates that the top 10 emerging jobs for the future would be digital jobs. I mean, 7 out of 10 would be digital jobs. And these would include artificial intelligence, robotics, engineering, data science, food stack engineering, site reliability engineering, data engineering, and cybersecurity. The net effect is that even when people have the right skills, they are unable to get jobs as a result of the negating effect of low and the absence of digital skills. We can therefore make significant strides in reducing youth unemployment if we are able to improve the acquisition of digital skills among the youth. And I will offer a few thoughts on how we have, and hopefully how together we can move on the learning curve and make some more improvements. May I say a few words on digital skills development? Honorable Deputy Minister, digital skills are critical, and ensuring that young people are digitally included and be prepared to take over from us. I'll be 50 next year. The generation that is taking over from us must be that generation that can create things that the trust and peers in other jurisdictions are able to do. It appears that all we assume most times is that young people would invariably learn and acquire these skills. Unfortunately, digital skills are not organic. They don't grow by themselves unless frantic effort and concerted effort are made and through deliberate policy and governmental investment to create them. It is estimated that about 2 decades, in 2 decades from now, kids that are entering primary school today would likely be adult jobs that do not exist yet. In other words, there are going to be new jobs that are going to be emerging, and young people who are going to primary school, now my last one is in primary school, class 5, perhaps would have a job that does not exist now. In other words, very fast job creation in new areas are all digitally dependent, and therefore our ability to create skill sets that fit that kind of revolution is what will make us competitive. The 21st century employers are currently looking for blockchain experts, product photographers, writers for search engine optimization, web UI and UX designers, WordPress developers, enterprise architects, animation experts, especially animation experts, Spotify developers, Asana project managers, and lead generation gurus. And the young Ghanaian, is the young Ghanaian well equipped to compete for these jobs? Many of an African youth has been force-fed with mental torture of an educational system consisting of cramming and regurgitating facts without any attempt at understanding or internalizing them. And I get heartaches when I engage students. Somebody sent me, and this was a lieutenant colonel, sends me an assignment that is completely not thought through and gets a grade but challenges the grade. In other words, we have become so grade-centric that what people want is to get a grade, get a certificate, and get out of here. Unfortunately, that does not help us. So there has to be a conversation, and we must have a conversation. In fact, a hard conversation about digital skills for a digital economy we must have. So thank you, AIDEC Consultancies, for organizing the Accra Digital Forum. This effort has the potential to bring the conversation to the fore. In recent times, a renewed digitalization agenda by the Ghanaian government, coupled with the sighting of the AFTA Secretariat in Ghana, gives us some good and refreshing hopes that, hey, there is something new to happen. And if we are able to take this and benefit from it, we must as well just reposition ourselves. While Ghana is referenced as a fertile ground for advancing, developing, and teaching digitalization in the sub-region by international organizations, especially because of the stability that we have, we are challenged with digitally skilled human resources, which impede progress for harnessing the benefit of digitalization. Jobs in Ghana are getting shipped out to other parts of Africa and west of it, out of Africa, further worsening the unemployment and underemployment situation. Now I feel so sad. I have companies from the US contacting me, Dean Business School, can you give us students because we want to ship jobs from the US to Ghana? And why do they want to ship the jobs to Ghana? You say, well, we are not doing physical jobs anymore. We don't go to work physically anymore. People are working from remotely. So if we must as well work from remotely, we must as well get the cheapest labor that we can have. And that if we are engaging young people from Ghana to do the work for us, we are likely to be able to save a lot of money. And so if we were well positioned, because in all of these conversations, there is always the capability equation. How capable are your graduates to be able to perform the tasks that we intend to assign them? I have always said, without any shame, that we have to train and train again. In fact, I just hope that it will just be training, but also that the attitudes and the commitment to work will be something that we can get to. After all, to be digitally literate will require a lot of effort, a lot of time commitment, and a lot of money investment. So it has become imperative for us to explore and focus on digital skill development, which can enable the Ghanaian youth to live, work, and benefit from the rapid technological changes of the fourth industrial revolution as global citizens. The importance of digital skills has been recognized as a new and fourth literacy essential along reading, writing, and mathematics. But we are constrained. Our key challenges which impede our digitalization agenda as a country and continent include what has been neatly ironed out by the IFC report referred to by our friend from GIZ. Only about 9% of the continent's population has access to internet. Too few citizens have digital accounts and transaction accounts. Low literacy rates. I have often wondered when my colleagues and myself complain about having missed out our passwords and cannot even keep them in mind, and therefore every now and then we have to go back to our IT people to say, please, can you come and reset my password for me, and all of that. Of course, that's part of growth. There's low enrollment in science and technology education in the continent, and ours is even enhanced. If you look at the conversion of the polytechnics to the universities, for example, it was the case that they would have a certain quota of science and technology-based programs. But I can assure you, all of the polytechnics are doing business, because that's where the money and the market is. Digital startups and businesses are struggling for funding to survive. Thank you, GIZ, for investing in that space. Businesses are slow in adopting digital technologies because people still cannot trust that the internet will provide them with some security. There is low government investment, and hopefully, as we see the Vice President lead this agenda, we will continue to get a lot more infrastructure in these areas. Despite these challenges, ladies and gentlemen, I think that there are also very good reasons and opportunities for us to look at. And as a continent, we may have to just look deeper, and we may be able to come up with a number of things. And the reasons are not far-fetched, again, clearly outlined in that report. 650 million Africans will require some digital enhancements and development. Some 130 billion of funds is estimated to be available for providing digital skills in Africa. Some 4 billion of funds is estimated to be available for providing digital skills in Ghana alone. Sometimes when you hear that, then you say, yay, we can go grab it. I tell you, grabbing it is as difficult as picking. And that is why, GIZ, when we come knocking, please listen to us. Like I said, just this year alone, I have 3,900 students. That's a mouthful to let off in 4 years. What am I going to do with them? How much acculturation can I? How much digital implanting of digital chips can I do to make sure that these guys will live and have a mindset of being creative disruptors? The African continent supplies only half of the digital skill labor that the continent requires. In other words, there's more room for employment in these sectors. The demand for digital skills in Africa is expected to grow even faster. And like I said, many continents are beginning to look up to us for the purposes of cost management to be able to engage our young people. It's important that we do not forget that the shortage of skills in Africa can actually create opportunities for us to take advantage of the market. Deputy Minister, I am excited because of these opportunities. But as we keep going, I always will look at them almost like some piece of meat in the frying oil. You look at it, you salivate. If you have no spoon to scoop it, it must be something you continue to admire. And I think that we should be able to move beyond. Madam, ladies and gentlemen, with the above offering Ghana good and verifiable reasons and opportunities for harnessing the goodies of digitalization to promote the livelihood of the people, the Ghanaian people have no other excuse. It's a calling on all of us, the current generation of Ghanaians, to prepare and take the opportunities that are offered to us. How do we do that? And unfortunately, this is where I get a bit sad. Like I said, introduce and enhance teaching and learning of digital and technology education from primary school. On many occasions, even elite schools in Accra, there's not a single IT infrastructure. And like I said, we often assume that people will pick these up. These skills, if they were picked up on the streets, everybody would be a tech wizard. But it has to be purposeful, it has to be calculated, it must be invested in, and we must make that effort now. We must equip and resource universities and polytechnics. Because these guys at universities are the age when they are prepared to experiment and to interrogate their creative ideas. But unfortunately, and so sad, when COVID struck and we moved teaching and learning online, then I realized the reality of the digital divide even within the universities. A significant number of our students could not join their teaching online, and so the university had to make special arrangements for those category of students. Those that did not have even a smartphone were enormous, and those that had smartphones but were located in places where it was so difficult, like he said, to be able to access good internet to join online teaching. In fact, a significant number of them, like I said, do not have. So we had to launch an appeal. At the business school, we launched an appeal to corporate Ghana, and succeeded in collecting some 30, which we will soon be donating to the needy students who have no computers and have no way of having a laptop to be able to work on. We need to be able to, and 𝗔𝗙𝗦, please look into the universities too. I know that you like to work with the tech hubs and look into the university because we have a lot of space. Currently, the University of Ghana Business School has developed an innovation and incubation hub sponsored by just one of our alumni. And 𝗔𝗙𝗧𝗙, a company, is partnering us to develop a digital hub to be attached to the innovation and incubation hub. And you should receive some invitations soon for the commissioning event to create space for our students to experiment, to make mistakes, and to work with their colleagues across engineering, pharmacy, AGRIC, to be able to come up with business models and to test them. There are no incentives. There are no scholarships. Unfortunately for me, I sit and every year I write recommendations for the brightest of my students, and they get harvested from here and developed and kept by other countries. The best of the students that I have, some young man from a village near Salaga, all A's in Wasi, gets into medical school, cannot pay the fee. He was granted a fee-paying option. He cannot. We made an appeal. He was put on regular. That he couldn't. We had to struggle to get funding for him. He gets into the program, and for all first-year courses, he got A's throughout. Then, at the end of the semester, he came to me to come and show me his transcript. And then after that, he said something that broke my heart. I've just been given a scholarship to study in the US. So he abandons the medical program here. Over. In his second year in the school there, he writes a mathematics paper that never got reviewed and published in a high-ranking mathematics journal. So when we spoke to when the father of internet in Africa spoke to us, you know that we have very brilliant young people. Many of those are walking the streets of Accra or have become people looking for bread and butter, and sometimes veer into criminal activities for want of bread. So let's support. Let the entities that have the capacity to do. Provide incentives like allowances for tech and science-oriented programs. Can we have the scholarship secretariat target and more? I know they do some things. Let's establish business entrepreneurship and technology hubs. Refine, stimulate, encourage, and implement technological ideas for businesses. We should be willing to let students fail in their experiment. I teach non-profit management, and I tell the students that if you can grow a non-profit business and let it provide a service that is useful for someone, no profit business you cannot do that. But we need to give them the opportunity to do that. I just hope also that we would continue to look at the sizes of our educational institutions and the numbers of students that we pump in there. It's not possible for me to have, to the current level of faculty that I have, to manage 3,900 students in a year. That means that I have to break them into groups of 250, several groups. And how can a lecturer effectively handle 250 students in a class? And even the 250 is the least that I can do, because you break it further and the lecturer will teach the whole day, the whole week. But should we not also be orienting, maybe to parents, orienting our children and all of that? Provide entrepreneurship and Carol, what did you mention to me in Mokola? Internships, sorry, yes. Provide internship opportunities. I struggle to get businesses and even government entities to accept students on internship. I'm chairing a committee for the university developing an internship policy for the university. It is not possible because companies don't want, and I keep asking them, you are telling us we aren't producing the students that you want ready-made so you can pluck from the university into a factory workshop to deliver for you. But you don't want to provide space for that students to come and see how factory floor look like. And so businesses must, and especially in Ghana, businesses must make it a conscious effort to reserve certain spaces for our students and to receive them and to be able to help us to train them. After all, apart from a computer lab, I am a business school. I do not have a laboratory of business. I do not have a laboratory for a pharmaceutical company. I do not have a laboratory. I just train students based on theory. And especially that if I have to deal with so many of those, then I just have to provide what I can do. And so the challenging part of it is that our ability to create digital skills is even constrained so much with what we have and what we can do with it. We need to ensure that these training centers that we have outside can provide for university students to feed into so that people can go there and enhance their capacity to be able to work and work well. Madam, it's talking too much. Teachers make a living from talking. So the more I talk, maybe the more I should be getting money, right? But we're actually fighting now because our money is too small. And when you get your students that you have supervised finished and they get a job, and they come to you and they throw their pay slip at you, and it feels like you should hang yourself. You wonder whether you want to remain in this industry. But let me conclude. 𝗙𝗏𝗏 stated once that once a new technology rolls over you, if you are not part of the steamrollers, you are part of the road. Clearly, Ghana cannot afford to be part of the road. Ghana must emerge as a major and strong part of the steamrollers, at least in Africa. We have the potential to emerge on top of the digitalization agenda. And Madam, thank you, and your minister and your staff for leading the crusade. But we will need more. Open up and receive us. if there's going to be a time that we, the Ghanaian people, are going to live up to the vision of being the gateway to Africa, there is no better time than now. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement has once again given us the edge, and we must redeem ourselves and make reality of the vision of making Ghana the gateway to Africa by pushing the limits. What have I been talking about? I'll leave you with a couple of takeaways. Number one, digital skills are not organic. Someone must yearn to have them, and someone must be willing to pay for their acquisition. Number two, digital skills cannot be acquired and stored. So there must be opportunities for both acquisition and application, which is one of the critical problems that we have. So those that get the opportunity to acquire the skills are struggling to find how they can apply them because there's no ecosystem support. Number three, digital skills are sellable across the globe. So if we develop them and fail to use them here, they will fly away, and they will fly to where they are needed. And if we fail to develop them, they can be sourced from elsewhere, just like happened in the past. But hopefully, COVID-19 is giving us the leverage to claim back the jobs because we can do so at least cost. Number four, digital skills can no longer be viewed in isolation, as every aspect of our lives are now integrated, and it's not competitive, and you are not competitive without adequate digital skills. Perhaps you want to view it like jollof. We're getting close to lunch. Everything is in there. You don't enjoy it plain rice. So it is important to have a clear cradle-to-grave conversation on digital skills for Ghana, for Africa. And if AFTA has to be able to deliver this, we must definitely be the ones to be at the forefront of delivering this mandate. Or else we will create an opportunity for people outside of the continent to take advantage of. Ladies and gentlemen, digital skills are important. Think about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof, for a wonderful presentation. Whenever I meet new graduates, one question I ask them, what's your LinkedIn account or link? And most of them sometimes don't have it. It's unfortunate. So at this juncture, the Honorable Deputy Minister would like to excuse us. Thank you so much, Minister. Would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. 𝗔𝗙𝗦𝗓, Ghana Chambers. Please, if you're here, can you, thank you. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of dignitaries from private sector entities. We have dignitaries from 𝗗𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 organization. Thank you. Would have our panel, the crux of the forum. We have a panel discussion on a mix of all that we have discussed today. So I'll kindly invite to the platform Mr. Abraham Sam, advisor, digital transformation, GIZ. Sam, please come take your seat. Would also like to invite to the Ms. 𝗙𝗛𝗚𝗜𝗓𝗓, GSA, Director of IT. Prof, so sorry you would have to join us again. Thank you. So I will be moderating with Mr. 𝗙𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓, who is with the Institute of ICT Professionals. We'll have one round of questioning, and probably if there's time, there'll be follow-up questions. We have only about less than 30 minutes to finish this. Right after that, we would have our closing remarks, and we'll have the opportunity to network and also have lunch. So please stay with us. Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Abraham with GI. Abraham, I know, is championing artificial intelligence in Africa, particularly, as I said, in Ghana. So Sam, if we talk about smart city development, how does AI come in?
Okay, thank you very much. So, before I answer your question, I want to state that AI actually changing a lot of things, and it is going to change a lot of things. So if you Google anything on the future of work, you realize the future of work will depend on a lot of things, but more importantly, these three things: digitization, automation, artificial intelligence. So now there is the concept of AI and X. So AI and any other field. So AI is going to change the face of medicine, AI and medicine. And these are not lofty, because some of these, the things are being done, some are being piloted. So in the field of medicine, for instance, AI is helping with the diagnosis of diseases. And a place where AI will see a lot of investment and application will be in cancer research, because it's a very tough area. The idea is also that AI can actually help shorten the path to experience for young doctors. So machine learning algorithms created and data sets on different how they have behaved over time. So that young doctor, it gives you some background. And for our case, I would say AI and agric will also be very important for us as an agrarian economy. But it will bring different benefits where we can combine the agrarian economy with a digital economy. So looking at things like pest and disease management, looking at how even rainfall pattern, how does that inform our planting and all that. AI and climate change is a big area, and for us at GIZ next year we are going to invest a lot in AI and climate change and energy systems. And so back to your question, with smart cities we are looking at how do we control, say, look at the movement of people and use it to control our traffic light system. How can we use, you know, we are all connected to our phones, right? So all those signals that, and even personal data that we are generating, how can we use it in the management of the city? How can we use like technology to crowdsource information to run the city? So AI is going to actually do a lot for smart cities. For instance, now it is possible to see maybe Ghana water struggling with a pipe that gets burst and no one reports. This is going to change with the installation of sensors and all that, Internet of Things. All this will change, and managing our cities will be probably easier.
Thank you so much. So I'll quickly move for the first round of questioning. You had an elaborate presentation, but the question would always ask is how are, so now let's look at continental-wise. I don't know your engagement with other universities across the continent, but how are African universities preparing graduates for the digital world of work? You spoke a lot, but in terms of modalities, or are there any strategies to develop graduates so that when they come out, they can fit in the world that is fast changing?
So within the continent, there's a lot that is going on. Unfortunately, the continent of Africa doesn't speak to itself.
Okay.
So I get to attend a lot more conferences across the sea than I do in Africa. We are a member of the Association of African Universities. I'm a member, my school is a member of the Association of African Business Schools, and we have conferences where we share experiences. There are experiences that we are sharing. For example, just 2 weeks ago, we had a conference, African-wide conference of universities to get engaged in impact investment and to see the extent to which students can get invested in the initiatives that they develop. Perhaps we aren't doing that at a large scale, but I think that unfortunately for us, universities in sub-Saharan Africa are usually not the best. We don't get a lot of investment in these areas. Our North African brothers are doing much, much better. South Africa is doing much, much better. But the rest of us, Ghana is perhaps the light in the rest of them that are left. What I think has been our biggest constraint has been how much of industry we can engage. A bit of it is our own problem because university professors have refused to engage industry. And industry has refused to engage us also. And so as a result of that, you do not have resources. The state gives me only salary. That's what they pay for the university. I need to collect fees from the universities to use to manage the university. That is certainly not a viable form of investing. So you are looking for industry to support and to be able to create these partnerships. One of the things that I recently talked about, the African Development Institute conference, had to do with what do the multinationals across Africa invest in Africa, especially in education, science, and development. Because they do a lot in their home countries. They are the ones that are championing a lot of corporate social responsibility investment in those areas. And I asked the question, can't we have a publication of how multinationals in Africa are investing in Africa? How much money are they putting into education and all of that? If we're able to do that, we would probably be able to see, because they are the ones that drive these partnerships across universities. Currently, I'm sure you know that the University of Ghana, along with a number of other universities within Africa, are benefiting from the World Bank Centers of Excellence project, which is leading 𝗔𝗙𝗏 and 𝗙𝗏𝗡𝗏, which is developing a lot of crops, Center for Crops, and then the one in Korle Bu. So there are a few things we are doing. I think that we should probably be doing a lot more, but I guess that requires a lot of catalyst. You have conversations that don't get fuel, it's difficult to get them moved. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Prof. So we'll come back with follow-up questions. Director IT, GSA, Kafi, I think you have a question for Madam.
Right. I would want you to touch a bit on the addressing systems that we have, especially in Ghana. Then we can move on. The addressing system.
Addressing?
Yes. Address system. Okay, it's actually a problem in the e-commerce industry. How is GSA helping in some form of standardization to help the e-commerce industry jump such a problem?
I'm not sure this is something that we've already touched on, but I'll make sure we work on that. Currently, the addressing system that we are using basically is okay, but I don't think is up to where is at the place where we need it to be. So, for instance, if you are in an apartment building, right, the same address can be used for more than 4 different apartment buildings. So if I'm supposed to do something, what unit am I delivering to? So I think it serves as the basis, but we are not to the point where you can pinpoint, I'm trying to give it to this particular unit A, unit B, unit C. That is where the problem is. So I'll make sure we take a good look at it, those problems.
All right, thank you. Ms. 𝗙𝗚𝗚𝗓𝗖𝗙, Director, IT, Ghana Standard Authority. So a quick follow-up question on that. Again, we seem to be interested in the continental white, the collaborations that are ongoing when it comes to standard, relation with e-commerce. So what is going on in that space?
Yes, currently I think ASO has been tasked to come up with the standards for ACTA. Ideally, the actual standard comes from ISO, which is the international, then it can come to the national level, and then we also have the one that is local to us. However, since each country have their own standards, and again, standard is not mandatory. The state is supposed to make it a mandatory subject so that we will protect health, safety, and environment. So since ASO actually representing Africa, they've taken that mandate to do the work for AFTA. But then they will select members from different states. So if they have like a TC or technical committee, they will take somebody from Ghana, somebody from Kenya, somebody from, make sure we have a harmonized standards that can be applied.
In doing this, what challenges are we anticipating, in trying to harmonize, have these standards in place?
As of now, we do have some basic standards. There's that may be unique to a particular or a country available. We don't have the international standards available. Most of the time, they adapt and switch it. So if they don't have an existing standard, then it means they have to scratch based on our own specification that we make out of it. So those are some things that already existing, but then we have to start from the scratch.
Let me come to you. Then we are also looking at, we talk about challenges when resources. Yeah. But whilst we wait for resources, whilst we look for resources, what are we doing? Okay. I know that we have what we call EdTech, and we have a lot of platforms that graduates can be encouraged, to pick up the skills themselves. And sometimes we're talking about networks, even like LinkedIn. I told you, always time to reach them. I asked them, saying you're looking for a job, so
yeah, I definitely come along with you, and one of the things that we get frustrated with as teachers on a day you are confronted with these, and when you interact with your students, a number of things that we do. Like I said, we currently have, in fact, I just chaired a committee to develop an internship policy, which will help us to be able to ship our students out. Like you said, somebody comes to do an internship with you, I'm sure by the time they leave there, these kind of questions you put to them on a daily basis is going to let them realize the reality, their reality outside of the university environment. I've often been asked by students, but you say these things, but when you go out, people do the same things out there. And I tell them, well, the society, pays better than the classroom. And so people go out, they do things, they get away with it. People go out, they haven't learned enough, but they can get a job. Then there is no incentive for people to get to be serious when they come and you are pushing them. But on our own, the university has what we call the Careers and Placement and Counseling Center, where there are periodic sessions, job fairs, mock interviews, helping people to get to appreciate. But we are currently revising our curriculum to include ethics, leadership, and environmental awareness, because we think that these are things that, as we move on, a lot of it will be. Entrepreneurship is part of our curriculum. I said, we have just developed a brand new innovation and incubation hub, hoping that we are able to help students to become a bit more active in that space. One of the things that I've asked my coordinator to do is to say, we aren't going to fund any business school students if you cannot come with 2 or 3 more students from other. In other words, if you were to come with an idea, we'll be looking to see whether you have people from, colleagues from other units, from nursing, from engineering, from agric, and all of that. Then to prepare you and to support you. Of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, and recently the university launched its global, the University of Ghana Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program, and that program puts us across, like you said, with a number of universities that are already launched up to there. We are a member of the a number of other societies that help us to get our students to. We join a lot of challenges that expose our students. In fact, last week I had to ask 10 of my students to join a challenge in the US. And honestly, the COVID is giving us a lot more opportunities, because a lot of the things that we didn't think about because we were always satisfied being here, we are getting exposed to, that we are getting pushed out and all of that. So on a lower level, one of the things you may not want to hear is that we are beginning to charge students a bit more. So we are looking for students who can pay, so we can charge them and use that to subvent those that cannot pay. And like I said, we're raising resources to equip students with laptops, but there are students that have laptops. So I remember that in the interview, one of the young men came and had an iPhone 1, right? You have this for, what do you need a laptop for? So we are looking to sieve them and to support the needy. Our master's programs across the university, we are also becoming a bit, unfortunately, we are a public university, so a lot of the things you can do, especially getting to tax people like you, if you came and said PhD, or somebody came and said they wanted to do a flamboyant master's degree, I should be able to charge you a bit pricey and use those resources to support the younger ones. And so we are on our own, trying as much as we can. Hopefully we can do a bit more, but we will keep going.
Thank you. Thank you that you keep going. So I want to quickly chip in that free consulting for you. Yeah. That you should also watch the distance education. That now people can easily take, instead of coming to the UTBS,
yes,
can easily take a master's from another university. So if it's within the African continent, I think it's good for Africa. But
absolutely.
Then if it happens that now people want to take programs outside Ghana, becomes a challenge.
So we have both opportunity and a threat there. We have, our programs are very popular within the African region, except that, like I said, I had to get our colleagues to be in the mood of wanting to give education virtually. And so the other thing that we probably are struggling to do now is to have to get our accreditation for our programs to run online. I'm currently in talks with 3 companies, South African companies, that are going to convert all our programs online and to make sure that people can take our program from Kenya, from Nigeria, from wherever, and they don't have to come here. Then I can charge a bit more because international students pay a bit higher than local students. So whilst there is contest or competition that Ghanaian students will want to take programs from outside, we are getting a lot more students from context wanting to take our programs. So I think that it will balance out nicely. But that's a very good pointer, and we have been discussing that. We have meetings. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with our new Vice Chancellor to talk about getting us the accreditation to run online programs. But certainly, we are mindful, and thanks for the reminder.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Co-moderator, Kofi, you have a question for Abraham?
Yes, Sam, I would like you to touch on how ready you think we are as a country and as a continent in fighting cyber security and bringing it to the smart city concept that we are thinking for Accra.
Okay, cyber security. I think we've begun. If you look around, there are a number of initiatives that are good, but I think we have to do a lot more. And for me, my interest is on the individual because, you know, most of the time, and I think it is changing, but most of the time, if you talk to people about cybersecurity, so they are thinking about IT infrastructure, firewalls, virus. They are thinking about two-factor authentication. They want some small devices that they can use to generate some random code. That is all good. But I think for our situation, we should probably look at personal security. Because you see, the weakest link is always an individual in an organization who will not do the right things and follow IT policy. And so I think that is where we need to do a lot of education. So for instance, you go to a hotel for a conference and you want to use the Wi-Fi, you need to check, double check, because you may not be on the Wi-Fi assigned for the conference. You may be on another Wi-Fi. Sometimes just a change in a letter. So somebody knows that Best Western open Wi-Fi around. He can also set up another telecom equipment somewhere and just change. So maybe Best Western with, say, a small B or something. And because you are used to that, you can just log in. You know, you travel and you are at the airport and you are feeling bored and you are logging into that free Wi-Fi. You have to be careful. So I think that is where we have to concentrate and do a lot of work. And I am not sure a lot is being done in that area. But just a little comment on the and the challenges. Okay, so it is funny, but we are all linked in a way. So I didn't know I'll meet 𝗏𝗄𝗖 here until he called me last night because he saw my name. So we are very much interested in digital skills. And so for our AI fellowship, we decided to engage industry partners. The idea is that we wanted to ensure that all the participants, the fellows, once they are part of the program, they will receive industry training. So on-the-job training and experience. And so they will be doing projects. And this will be like real projects, okay, not any simulated kind of project. So together with the industry partners, what we seek to do is that the industry partner will bring a problem or something they are working on. And then these fellows will actually work on that. And it's also like a test bed for some industry partners to try out some things without having to invest so much. So give it to the young people, let them try it out. If they finish and you see that there's value in there to capture, you can scale it. And so we are complaining about our young people not getting internship opportunities, but it's two-way. Our program is a professional, but I'm sure the universities face similar challenges that I had to deal with. So we called some industry partners that come, we have something in mind, but come, let's co-create the content for the program. And then I don't want to mention any organization here, But one big organization in this country asked me to bring a proposal. What proposal? For something we have to sit and co-create? If I bring a proposal, then it means that there's nothing to co-create. It means we have the content already set. But we want to co-create. So let's come to the table, put the content in there. Tell us, what do you look out for from somebody with a background in artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics? We will convert that into a curriculum. And an organization is asking me for a proposal. And a young man was happy about everything. We were progressing. I thought we were making progress because they brought in the HR director and some other directors. Then this came. So, two ways. I also think that for a certain generation, we were not, I belong maybe to a bit of a younger generation. I can tell you that the people I have met who are very good in these emerging technologies are in their 20s. So if you are speaking to an HR director who is 50 years, there is a problem. So we need to actually train captains of industry on these topics, because I have realized that sometimes in conferences, you meet big people, they have big titles, they will not let you know they don't understand the topics. But truly, a lot of people do not understand. And there's nothing wrong in learning. But we need to train captains of industries to understand that these are the trends. Otherwise, Prof, I'm sorry, even if your computer science department brings the state-of-the-art equipment and train them, they will still struggle to get opportunities.
Right.
And then the other side is also the schools. You are also not engaging enough. And I think you have to find different ways to engage. And that also includes probably inviting some young 22-year-olds to be guest
speakers.
Lectures. Let's say you are teaching something in data analytics. Let a young man who has only a BSc, he's not a professor, he's not coming to teach.
Who is in the
but
industry.
he will just teach you maybe 2 hours of machine learning, and then he will leave. And then the professor can take the course.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Kuku. Thank you very much. I appreciate the comments said. Yes.
Very useful.
And
Thank
I earlier wanted to ask Prof, what intentions are to relook at our curriculums in schools.
So
to include digital skills, I must say.
In fact, that's like a boogeyman question, all right? It is because, you see, till date, our universities have and continue to be academic institutions. So we expect that when you drop your child in Legon, they would get a BSc in, something, and they should be able to think, critically and all of that. And there are a lot of policemen on the road. So Professor Yana, knows in the university, if you are a professor, you are a member of the academic board of the university, and that's the final decision making, and then you are a member of the college academic board and all of that. You develop a program that you are taking for approval. There are about 7 policemen on the road, and every level they will sieve it because it must meet a certain standard, academic standard. Those of us in the business school, I have had to struggle to bring in industry people. So I have somebody who is grown a business in Africa within this turbulent environment, and I want to appoint them as a part-time lecturer to engage with my students. They tell me, oh, but he doesn't have a degree. Oh, he doesn't have this. But that's not what I need. I need a person's acumen and his ability to manage a business. So there are a lot of, what we are looking at now is that in the business school, we have established something we call a corporate executive in residence. So I'm going to appoint you a corporate executive in residence on an incubation hub. It's not a paying position, But what it allows you to do is to come into the university at all times that you want, and sit in an office. Students can come and talk to you. Faculty can come and interview you, and you engage with students. It's not an official thing to do in the business school, because at the end of the day, if I were to take you through the process to appoint you as it won't happen. So we try to do a little bit of that. Curriculum, we are trying to revise. We're introducing new programs, and like I just said, there are now a few things we do on the way. Let me tell you the challenge that I have, though. I've invited very big people to come and talk to students. And as dean, the hall will be empty. And I need to go out and do like, my father had a lot of cattle, so I was a cowboy. Kind of like, guide, please don't go. So I can get them into the hall. So because I've kept the big man in my office, I'm checking to see whether students have come for him to come and talk to them, and students won't show up. So, two-way affair. Perhaps what we have decided we're going to do is to make sure that it will get examined, but once you get towards examination, then the thing becomes exam focused. The person comes and you don't talk about exam, they are sleeping. When they hear exams, Professor, what did you say? And that attitude, and that's why I think that captains of industry must help us, because I think that, and I would be happy if for a very long time my students can't find work because they are not good. Then the information will relay back to the university, hey, your students aren't finding work. And that if you go out there and you are not minted well, you won't find a job. But hey, people will find jobs whether or not they are well minted. It doesn't matter what they will find jobs. So there is no incentive to listen to me when I say, hey, sit down, let's. So you can go out and be very productive.
I agree with you perfectly. I agree. Sure. Before you add, if there's anyone in the setting who wants to ask a question, you may just let us, and we'll ask you to contribute.
So I just want to say that when it comes to developing digital skill sets, right, the curriculum actually makes you confused. Most good developers are self-taught. Yeah. And I would take my case, for example. I did art, I paint, but I learned how to code on my own and switch from art to computer science, and did undergraduate again and graduate school. So for instance, if you think you're waiting for the curriculum to learn how to code, how to do this, we have YouTube, we have all this stuff online, and you have to stay up all night and train yourself to become good. So the school is just basic, but you have to do your own self-development. And this is what I tell most of the young people that I meet, that you have to do it on your own.
All right.
Okay.
Just one point, talks about the 10,000, the book Outlier talks about the 10,000 hour rule. All right? There is no way you can become a genius until you do that. All right? So you come in, 13 weeks, I'm in a hurry to finish my curriculum. The student must do a lot more. And that's why for us, we are trying to create a space that would allow students to, on their own, come there. We will pick a couple of them, try to make sure that would inspire others to come. It's tough, but we have a responsibility, which we must. I was talking to Carol. We will send some of them to Mokola to go.
Thank you, Prof. Yeah, one thing we should note, digital skills, trends, technologies come and go. Sometimes they even change. So when I have the opportunity to train people in digital skills, the first thing I tell them is, you are not coming here to pick the skills that I'm going to teach you. You're coming here to develop your mindset, and that you should have the mindset to learn every day in the digital space. And learning is not only from books. Usually the knowledge sits with our colleagues. Sometimes even the phone you use, accidentally you would even learn a new skill by just hitting on a pad or something. So that is one thing I would add. So we are wrapping up, and the general question we would ask is that, is Africa ready, for digital transformation? So now I'll step down, and if we have any contribution, I'll take it. Do we think Africa is ready? Yes, Prof.
Well, I have a question. We've been invited to ask questions. So I'd like to ask the GIZ rep. Well, here we have experts and lay people. I'm one of the lay persons. I'd like to, if you could tell us the relationship between AI and Internet of Things, and how both can impact the lives of individuals, society, and the national economy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I hope I'm able to do this without further confusing the people here. So first, let me explain what Internet of Things is. So you see the way we have the internet. So the internet is just, let's take it in a basic layman way. So connecting several computers together, that forms like the internet. Now, so the Internet of Things is the same, but this is connecting different gadgets. So in the home, you can look at maybe your phone connected to your gate, your coffee maker, your microwave, your TV, water heater, and stuff like that. Ideas in Ghana. Yeah. So now AI is simply to get computers to think intelligently. Put another way, trying to get. So when Marvin Minsky was thinking about AI, he was trying to let machines think like human beings. Now there's a debate as to whether AI will overtake human beings or not, but that is a different conversation. Now, they intersect, Internet of Things and AI intersect at some point. So essentially with Internet of Things, let me use an example. So you have a farm and you want to use Internet of Things. So usually it will be putting sensors on the farm, and then this will help you maybe detect things like soil texture, humidity, and then so the sensors actually help you also take like readings. And then if they are above a certain threshold, they give you an indication. Now this is connected to a computer, so you'll be collecting data. So where the AI and Internet of Things meet is, for instance, if you want to say detect pests and diseases. Depending on what you want to do, you can also use sensors to do some of the things. Otherwise, depending on your solution, typically in Ghana, those using, say, AI to detect pests and disease, usually it is about using machine vision, which is something else. So they take a phone, maybe take a picture. There's a database of different, let's say, the leaves of a crop, and then the machine learning algorithm will actually go through and compare. So there's a leaf like this, and we have also taken ones before which look like this, and this was the disease. So we can actually predict that this is the same. So that is something else, but you can also use the sensors. So the sensors just help you collect the data, but you can use a machine learning algorithm to work with the data. So that is where Internet of Things and AI meet. I don't know if I've done justice.
Yes, Prof, I think, yeah. So thank you. Yes, Madam.
Thank you. You made a comment about older people, the generational gap as far as digital skills and technology is concerned. I think two things. We have to start teaching, the methods of teaching have to encourage our children to be inquisitive and to be inquisitive throughout their lives. The second thing is, it's a question of interest. Some of us don't belong to your generation, but we don't understand it the way you do, but we are happy to learn from you. our culture does not, our culture teaches us that adults and children know nothing. That's got to change. Because the world today, if we don't learn from you, when we are old, we won't be able to survive because everything will be about technology. So maybe designing courses and seminars and so on, we need to be targeting the older generation. My mother is 92. She does her crosswords, she struggles to write. She does it on a tablet. I just made a comment to somebody and the person said, oh, we have to interview your mother. I said, she doesn't want an interview. But at 92, she didn't know what technology was about. But for her, it was just the fact that she could still do her crosswords and still exercise her mental capabilities. So I think it's an attitudinal thing. And we just need to change our attitude towards technology. It's not going anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Time, I'll take only one question. A gentleman behind me, gentleman on my right, a gentleman on my left. So let me go right, I'll come to left.
Thank you very much. I just want to comment also as a follow-up to what Carol said. This topic around the Africa digital discussion and AFTAC is a very important one because, like you rightly identify, the opportunities are there now. And if we as Africans do not take advantage of those opportunities, others will come in and take that space. And so you cannot leave it to one generation. You take a good look at me, you see my hair is pretty gray. But I can tell you that I'm actually building a fintech startup post-retirement. Now, my agenda is Africa. There's no way for the space in which I am, you would have built the full skill set to be able to actually boldly look at Africa if you don't have some experience. But there's no way if you are post 60, you have the energy and drive to do the work that is out there. So you're going to need a combination. And it is, I mean, for me, the pandemic and the way the whole world shut down forced people to take a second look at strategy and to look at what has happened. And I also am a strategy consultant. So for some of my clients, we had been discussing digital as an agenda prior to the shutdown. Post the shutdown, it immediately changed the discussion because it was forced upon us. And that is where we shouldn't get to. The opportunities are there. There's no reason why, if we are talking about 6.7 trillion in trade, okay, we should not look at it as a clear and present opportunity. And we should be looking to farm it. So I'm very happy to hear about the skills development, but I think we should also broaden it and look beyond Ghana, because that opportunity, Ghana's 66 billion GDP, okay, is a small portion of the larger opportunity. And therefore, we really need to be looking towards that. So I'll end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I'm able to take one more. Yes, sir.
So thank you and good afternoon. So Prof, this is directed to you. So my name is Pav and I'm from Academic City University College. So we completely understand some of the hardships that we go through in terms of the accreditation and approval side. We having recently launched a couple new programs, Artificial Intelligence, a BSc in Robotics Engineering, and a BSc in Biomedical Engineering. So it was no easy task for our academic team to get these through the finish line. But my question for you, is as public institutions look to also ramp up their programs, update the curriculum, what role can private institutions play in supporting the public institutions in advancing curriculum that is targeted at digital skills, which allow us to educate our future generations for jobs of the future?
Thank you very much. I have always looked at my colleagues, either in other public universities or in private universities, as collaborators. Unfortunately, I think our biggest challenge has been that we have looked at ourselves as competitors. And I tell my colleagues, when they tell me, I say, look, there's no way I don't have space to take all the people in Ghana, or even in Accra. So I'm going to be able to take just a fraction of. And so I actually have a concept paper done already to form an association of business schools in Ghana. And to ask the question, how do we escalate our conversations to make sure that we can share resources, for example? Unfortunately, our systems do not allow us, within the mainstream activities, do not allow us to engage private universities. In fact, we are supposed to be mentoring you in the way that we look at things. Unfortunately, we have been stuck in our own minds that superior, and so we don't even open up to learn. And there are a lot of very new and great things happening just around us, and we are unable to open up. So I'm happy that when I saw you, you came forth and said, oh, this is who I am. And so we are going to be having a conversation. I think that we should share information. Again, I also know that you're also not too big enough to collect too many students. I cannot collect too many students. So there is for everybody on the block to be able to share skills, share ideas, exchange faculty, do joint programs, compete for grants, allow our students to compete among themselves and see what exists in our institutions. That way, I am sure we are able to do some things, but definitely open for ideas and open for discussion. So let's catch up after this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Ms. Echar from GSA, Director of IT. Thank you for coming and helping us. Thank you, Abraham Sam, Digital Transformation Advisor at GIZ, focus on AI. Thank you so much. So could you please kindly, can we give them a round of applause as they take their seat? Thank you. Yeah, so you may kindly take your seats again. Would at this juncture invite the CEO of AIDEC to give us his closing remarks. Thank you. Now, we have a closing remarks and, of course, our surprise. So I would allow the CEO to introduce us to the surprise. Yeah. We'll bring the okay.
Thank you very much, Gideon. I think we are now in the afternoon. We're getting to the end of the program. This is the last assignment that I have to do, and then we call it quits. We have, after this lunch, depart. I'll first of all want to thank all of you, busy as you are, for making time outside your busy schedules to sit with us since 9 o'clock to about 12 now. 3 hours of your time is very, very valuable. It just shows how important you think this occasion is. We are very blessed by your presence. I'm not giving the vote of thanks. There's somebody to give the vote of thanks. But I just want to express my happiness that you have responded to our invitation, which has made it possible for us to discuss what we plan to discuss. And I think for me, it's been very interesting. There are a lot of learning opportunities and also the way forward. When I was inviting somebody to this program, he says, is it the usual talk shop? We've had so many of these before. You just go and talk, and then you go away. And I said, no, this is not going to be a talk shop. It's going to be an action-oriented program. So after this forum, what next? We have put in place a program to meet all tech engineers, a number of tech engineers, which we call Tech Engineers Table. We will sit down, and the discussions that we've had and the issues that we have raised, we have taken note of them, and we'll sit down and process them. We process them, we will be able to come up with some conclusions that, and even proposals that we can lay before government as a private sector position on some of these issues. I know government is doing a lot. The regulatory agencies are doing a lot, but they cannot do it alone. We need to partner with them. We need to collaborate with them. So sitting through the processes and what regulation have established, we can, from the business perspective and from academia, we've heard a lot from Prof, the constraints they are working with, not able to produce graduates that will be self-employed or graduates that will fit easily into the business sector and get employment. All these challenges, how do you address them? Private sector participation is key. The technology universities and academic institutions are very key in this to support government, and there should be some collaboration at a certain level. Even for us as people operating in the tech sector, we need to collaborate, because as individuals, you can make business from the space in which you are operating. But as individual, your capacity will be limited. But if as tech companies we collaborate, I think we can also do a lot. We can create a big pie and share the pie. So collaboration, even in the face of competition, is very, very important if we have to make it. And the market is big. The market is not just Ghana. The market is Africa. If we have a lot of tech products, we can export them to the other African countries. I believe most of the African countries are looking for leadership, and we must get together and provide that leadership. So doing this, we try to encourage all the tech companies that have been there 10, 15 years down the line in Ghana, doing the come together, let's jojo, let's brainstorm, let's to government, let's come together. If you are doing research in the universities, your research can be tailor-made to suit industry needs. And the industrialists will be able to pay some money, even to fund your research programs. We shouldn't work in silos. So this is the approach that we are taking. So in order to do this, we are very excited by the father of internet, who just spoke to us via Zoom, Professor 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔. They have been the trailblazers. They've done a lot. Still more to do. How do we bring this about? If you go outside there, you'll see a display of innovation and creativity. Even at his old age, together with his technical staff, they've been able to produce machines with embedded software that can take the place of the Momo shops that we see all around. The device that is sitting out there is a safe. So the money is safe. It can accept money and then transfer money to somebody like Momo. You want to transfer money to somebody. And you can also feed the device with money, physical cash, that it will put on your mobile wallet. And you can in turn transfer it to whoever you want to send the money. It's safe and it's easy to use. I have used it before. I was going to a Momo shop to do some transaction when I was alerted that I can do it through that. And I did it, and it worked very perfectly. Try to that. So if you leave after this program, the technical people are there with the machine. They're going to you, and it is meant to replace the several Momo shops we see. That is technology in practice. And this is locally made in Ghana here by our tech engineers. Both hardware and software, all assembled here in Ghana. But the point I'm trying to make is the new product we are launching, after we've had the tech engineers roundtable discussion, in order that we make proposals to government. in order that we collaborate, even as we compete in this space. We have a product we are launching today. My singular honor to unveil the logo for our next big thing, which is styled Africa 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗑𝗧𝗔 /Fair. Africa 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗑𝗧𝗔 and the Fair is a technology and innovation program that is meant to recognize top tech companies in Africa and to encourage us to bring about innovation and creativity so that we can also create products and not just be dependent on the developed world for solutions. So it's called Africa 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗑𝗧𝗔, Technology and Awards Scheme. And we are starting the very first one this year in November 2021. So I have the singular honor to unveil the logo for the 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗑𝗧𝗔. And that is it over there. And what does it involve? It involves in looking at the whole of Africa, various regions, north, south, east, west, central, whatever. And each region will participate. So there will be awards for each region within the Africa region. West Africa, North Africa, and all that. So everybody will have the potential of, without making it, we will have an overall Africa award, but we will make sure, we also make sure all the regions are covered. Then we will also reward sectors. We have health, we have and all that. Company, individual producing some innovative and creative product that will serve our interests as Africans and even the world. We also recognize that. How do you use technology to improve on agricultural production? Somebody was telling me, when you say digital solutions for agriculture, what does it mean? Does it mean that you sit in your office and then have a device that will give you a picture of your farm and see how the workers are working? And I said it has more to do than that. It also involves the use of technology to increase your efficiencies and to monitor, to increase efficiencies and even productivity on your farm. So there can be digital solutions for agriculture and several others, improve varieties and so many things. So it's all over. So we'll have by sector and by regions. And then we'll have judges that will appoint from credible institutions to be able to objectively decide on who wins this award. And then we'll publish the criteria. And then following in the press, you'll get the details of this launch. So the judges' selection process, the individual nominations, and the organization's nominations. An organization can nominate yourself, or an individual can nominate yourself, and you can also nominate somebody. So it's both ways. At the end of the day, once you fit into the criteria, then we'll begin the sorting out through this interview and selection criteria. Then in November, we will have the digital awards for Africa, the 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗑𝗧𝗔, the first under this program. So that is the program. On that note, I launched this 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗧𝗔, which comes off in November, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. You've said it all. And it's been a wonderful session since 9 a.m., and I believe we are all exhausted. We would have more time to deliberate on the issues, but we can definitely do that some other time. We'll definitely take the conversation out of here and continue wherever we find ourselves during lunch. Let's connect and let's collaborate to win as Africa. That is the discussion. We must collaborate to win. Thank you very much. It's been the Africa Digital Forum, Accra edition 2021, and definitely we'll take it to other doorsteps. We'll now have the vote of thanks from 𝗗𝗛𝗚𝗜𝗢𝗓𝗏.
𝗙𝗚𝗏𝗓𝗏. It's been a great morning. Thank you for seeing your beautiful and handsome faces. We want to thank God for this opportunity. There's a quote that says, "It's more urgent of returning thanks." I'm here to say a big thank you. First of all, to our guest speakers, Deputy Minister of Communication, Mayor of Accra, our DG, Ghana Standard Board Authority, our Dean, University of Ghana Business School, NITA, Director of Regulations. We also want to thank our valued invited guests, all present here, all the dignitaries. Ghana Telecom Chambers, Dr. 𝗓𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗔, NIIT, Dr. 𝗔𝗙𝗙𝗦, Academic City University, 𝗙𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗍𝗍, I hope I'm right, UPSA, our Dean of Management, to all our stakeholders, partners, supporters. We have Access Bank, Cal Bank, EcoBank, GIZ, Yadaba, online viewers, to all our online viewers, Phoenix Insurance. We want to thank our media house, every one of you, we can't mention your name. AIDEC staff, to the best hotel in Ghana, Best Western Premier, and to everyone who worked behind the scene. Thank you. And I'll finally end with Martin Luther King's quote that says, "An individual has not started living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concerns to a broader concern of all humanity." We are here because of humanity. We are here because we want to serve our mother Ghana and Africa and globally the whole world. So if tomorrow you hear from our local adage, say it's a day, koko or buana, AIDEC Sunday. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the marketing strategist of AIDEC Group, Mrs. 𝗗𝗛𝗚𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗚. Thank you so much. So we're bringing our meeting or our forum to a close, and we'll kindly invite Ms. Ruth Akalante, who's the Sales and Marketing Manager of AIDEC Group, to give us a closing prayer.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to close in prayer. Shall we humbly be on our feet to pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and kindness and granting us the opportunity to be here on this August occasion. We give you all the praise, we give you all the honor, we give you all the glory. Thank you, Lord, for granting the leaders and moderators and that of the committee that has seen to it for the progress of this program and the wisdom granted to them. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Lord, we continue to thank you for those who have journeyed from far and near to be here, and also those who have made their time to participate online, and bringing us to this successful ending of this wonderful program. We give you all the honor. We pray as we depart to our various destinations,
You continue to guide and protect us. And for the inauguration for this program, Africa Technovate, it will move from glory to glory. It will be taken to the next level. It will not just remain here with us, but it will go all over, and the impartation will be seen in our nation, Ghana, and beyond Africa. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ruth Akalente. So, ladies and gentlemen, we bring our forum to a close. Thank you all for attending the program. Next is networking and lunch, and then afterwards we'll have departure. So please take there will be lunch vouchers that will be given to us, and we can move to the restaurant to take our lunch. Thank you. It's been Gideon Ofote and
Amanfu.
Very much.
Thank
We've
you
had
all.
the privilege of
Thank
serving
you all.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.